In the shadow of the Egyptian desert, hidden from time, lies the dark myth of Sesostris, the pharaoh who dared to conquer not only lands, but the human soul. No one speaks of him without fear, for those who sought the truth never returned. His rise was marked by blood. As the sands of time shifted, Sesostris ascended the throne, not as a mere king, but as a conqueror who sought to extend his reach beyond Egypt. Some whispered of strange rituals that invoked dark powers older than the gods. His army marched far beyond Egypt, laying waste to the lands they encountered. No one could withstand the faceless horde, an army whose eyes seemed hollow, devoid of humanity, their faces forever hidden behind masks of iron. As Sesostris pushed forward, he left more than destruction in his wake. His conquests were marked by strange obelisks, etched with symbols no one could understand. They whispered of unspeakable horrors, of a ruler not of this world. He reached the edge of Europe, and darkness fell across the land. His enemies did not just lose their lives, but their very souls, as if the land itself mourned and shrank in fear of this faceless conqueror. Legends say that in one of his conquests, Sesostris humiliated his foes by erecting a strange pillar and eerie monument that whispered of shame and fear. The earth around it rotted, and no life could exist there again. But such power comes at a price. In the dark recesses of his mind, Sesostris was no longer human. His form began to change, becoming one with the darkness he commanded. His people called him a god, but he had become something far worse. As the centuries passed, Sesostris vanished from history. His tomb, sealed deep within the desert sands, became a place of nightmares. They say that those who search for it are never seen again, consumed by the curse he left behind. But something stirs. Those who seek power, who delve too deeply into forbidden history, unknowingly awaken the faceless terror. The curse of Sesostris lingers still, waiting to claim new souls. The tale of Sesostris is not one of glory, but of horror. His name, whispered through the ages, carries a curse that cannot be undone. Beware the Faceless One, for he will rise again when the sands shift, and the world will tremble once more. Legends tell of strange disappearances, entire villages wiped from existence as Sesostris and his faceless army advanced. The victims were never found, only whispers of their lost souls haunting the lands he conquered. It is said that when the wind howls across the desert, it carries the voices of those who challenged Sesostris, their cries of agony, a warning to those who would follow in their footsteps. In the heart of his empire, Sesostris erected a towering monolith, a tribute to his victories. But unlike other monuments, this one bears no faces, only blank, featureless figures, as if the souls of those lost had been erased from history. Over time, Sesostris's powers grew beyond comprehension. His faceless army became an extension of his will, moving without command, an invisible force guiding them toward unimaginable horror. At the peak of his reign, a desperate alliance of nations attempted to stop Sesostris. They met him on a field of darkness where the sun never rose, but their courage faltered against his faceless legion. After decades of terror, Sesostris vanished. Some say he was defeated by his own hubris. Others claim he withdrew to another realm. But his legacy remains in the scars on the lands he conquered, and in the nightmares of those who remember. Even in death, his power remains. Those foolish enough to search for his lost empire often find themselves lost forever, swallowed by the curse of the Faceless Pharaoh, never to be seen again. In the deepest reaches of the forgotten temples, rumors of dark rituals persist. Those who seek to bring back the power of Sesostris perform unspeakable acts, hoping to awaken the faceless terror once more.
The story of Sesostris serves as a warning to those who seek unchecked power. For those who follow in his footsteps risk becoming like him, faceless, forgotten, and feared for all eternity. In the end, all that remains of Sesostris is a whisper on the wind, a voice that calls out to the curious, the brave, and the foolish, inviting them to discover the horror that lies beyond the veil of history. Some say Sesostris' army was not human at all, but an army of specters, faceless spirits bound to his will, doomed to roam the earth for eternity. They move silently, their presence felt only as a sudden chill in the air. Buried beneath the sands of Egypt lies a secret archive containing records of Sesostris' dark magic, an ancient repository of forgotten spells. Those who find it become consumed by the knowledge it holds, driven mad by what they learn. In his quest for eternal life, Sesostris performed unspeakable rituals. Though he gained immortality, it came at a terrible price. His body began to decay, his face slowly vanishing into the void, leaving only a hollow shell of his former self. Legend speaks of a gateway deep within Sesostris' tomb, a portal to a realm of eternal darkness where no light can penetrate. It is said that anyone who ventures too close to this void is swallowed by it, never to return. Guarding his tomb are creatures not of this world, silent sentinels bound to protect their master in death as they did in life. They watch the living from the shadows, their faceless forms blending into the darkness.
The sands of Egypt hide many secrets, but none as dark as the forgotten city where Sesostris once ruled. Its remains are cursed, the buildings long crumbled into dust, but the presence of the faceless king still lingers, waiting for the day he will rise again. In the centuries following Sesostris' disappearance, there were those who claimed to hear his voice, a faceless prophet who preached of his return. They say he appears in dreams, offering power in exchange for loyalty. Time has eroded the memory of Sesostris from history, but the sands continue to shift, and with each passing year, fragments of his reign resurface. Some believe that the shifting sands are guided by his spirit, slowly revealing his tomb. As the modern world continues to unravel the secrets of the past, the shadow of Sesostris grows ever closer. Archaeologists, historians, treasure hunters, they all seek his tomb, but none are prepared for the horror that lies within. The time is near. The faceless Pharaoh will rise again, and when he does, the world will tremble. The curse of Sesostris is eternal, and no one can escape the darkness that will follow in his wake. The desert is never still. Some believe it is alive, a restless force waiting to uncover the ancient secrets buried beneath its surface. As night falls, strange shadows move in the sand, as if the land itself remembers the terror of Sesostris. Those who dared to disturb the pharaoh's tomb speak of faceless figures who watch from the shadows. These are the eternal watchers, guardians of Sesostris' legacy, cursed to protect his secrets for all time. Those who return from the depths of Sesostris' tomb bear a mark, a cursed symbol burned into their skin. It is a silent reminder of the darkness they uncovered and of the pharaoh's promise that he will one day rise again. Beneath the tomb lies a vast labyrinth, a twisting maze of stone corridors and endless passageways. Those who enter are never seen again, their minds consumed by the pharaoh's curse, their bodies lost to the shadow. In the silence of the tomb, echoes of the past linger. Faint whispers, barely audible, drift through the air. They tell of a time when the pharaoh ruled with an iron fist and of the unspeakable horrors that followed in his wake. As Sesostris grew more powerful, his mind began to unravel. His obsession with immortality consumed him, and those who served him fell victim to his growing madness. They became hollow, their faces erased, their identities lost to the Pharaoh's insatiable hunger for control. The souls of those conquered by Sesostris are said to wander the earth, bound by his curse. They are broken, their faces erased, their voices silenced. Only their hollow eyes remain, watching, waiting for the day when the faceless Pharaoh will return. An ancient prophecy foretells the return of Sesostris. It is said that when the stars align and the sands of Egypt shift, the faceless king will rise again to finish what he began. The world will tremble, and darkness will once more reign supreme. Deep within the heart of the tomb, Sesostris stirs. The time has come for him to rise from his eternal slumber, to reclaim his throne and continue his reign of terror. His faceless army awaits, ready to march once more. As the faceless king rises, darkness descends upon the world. His army of the dead marches once more, their hollow eyes glowing with malice. The curse of Sesostris is reborn, and the world will never be the same again. In ancient times, sacrifices were made to appease Sesostris. His priests believed that by offering the faceless to their god-king, they could prolong his power. The chosen were erased, their identities wiped from history, becoming eternal servants of the Pharaoh deep within the Great Pyramid, in chambers sealed for millennia. The silence is deafening. But those who dare to venture inside claim to hear faint whispers, ghostly voices that seem to echo from the walls themselves, as if the spirits of the faceless linger, watching, waiting. In ancient Egypt, names were believed to hold great power. To speak the name of Sesostris aloud is to invite his curse. Those who have dared to utter it have met with strange fates, mysterious disappearances, sudden madness, and even death. Over the centuries, many have tried to rob the tomb of Sesostris, drawn by tales of untold riches, but none have succeeded. Those who enter the tomb are said to be struck by a curse that drives them mad, their minds unraveling as the faceless Pharaoh's power seeps into their soul. It is said that when the stars align and the moon turns blood red, the faceless dead will rise once more, summoned by the call of their ancient king. They will march across the earth, silent and relentless, until the world is shrouded in eternal darkness. And so the prophecy is fulfilled. Sesostris, the faceless Pharaoh, rises from his tomb, his power restored, his curse unleashed. The world is plunged into darkness as his faceless army marches once more.
Those who dared to uncover his secrets are lost to time, their faces erased from history, their voices silenced. His reign of terror has begun again, and this time there will be no escape.